are your hopes for, hopefully, God willing, the next 20 years of Afro Beats and Afrosounds radio show?
Well, I hope that I've been able to be a good ambassador for the culture and for the music, and also show people that it's much more than just, just Nigeria and South Africa. I mean, the Congolese were filling stadiums of 100,000. The Congolese artists were doing 100,000 way before the Nigerians were doing 20,000 O2 capacity.
Yeah.
And these are the stories we don't get. We're not told
Yeah.
because, Africa's a bit divided, Francophone, Anglophone. But
Yeah.
the Congolese have been doing international tours from time.
Yeah Network.
Hey guys, we are here in the One Extra Studios, and we are here with a legend. If you only knew what this guy has done. And unfortunately, we can't get into his life story, but we'll probably have to do a part 2 because his wife needs it.
Yeah, she's waiting.
So basically, this is the night where Fireboy is coincidentally celebrating his first show, a big, massive show. And also, you're celebrating 20 years. So we're about to kick off with a quick interview with the legend, the amazing guy who's been fighting and pushing Afrobeats in the UK. This is DJ Edu.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being on your network. I was like, I had to tell the friends, I was like, we have to celebrate you.
Yeah.
We have to be able to celebrate culture and show those elements and stuff like that, which people haven't yet seen on your network. So
Yeah,
I'm
amazing.
happy to sit down with a legend like yourself. But how are you feeling that it's 20 years?
I mean, it's gone just like that, but the growth has been testament to the level of creativity and the hard work and the music that's come out of Africa.
Mm-hmm.
It's been, for me, it's seeing that grow and being a part of that story that makes me really proud.
Yeah. How does it feel when you was starting it? Like, how did it feel that you were like the only one in the scene championing Afrobeats? Like, especially in a predominant place where it probably was bashment, there's a lot of jungle, there's all those things, and you're here being an anomaly pushing Afrobeats and African artists.
Yeah, it was interesting because at first they didn't even know where to put me. They were like, yeah, it sounds a bit like soca, so they put next to the soca show. They're like, oh, it's not. Yeah, put me next to the dancehall show, drum and bass. And then we were trying to find our feet, find our space. And obviously at the time, there wasn't very many young people doing African music that way because music was seen as something derogatory in Africa. Most parents are like, yeah, come on, become an accountant, a lawyer, a doctor, not music. Music is for people who, dropouts, womanizers. That's the stories we used to get.
Yeah.
So it was really hard getting music at the time, and there were very few songs that had come through. And obviously the language was a big barrier because people were making music in their own languages. There was this Somali kid called Kanan. He was making music in Somali. I was speaking to another guy from Morocco. I remember I played his song first when he was in the shower, and he was like, oh my goodness, you played my song. That's in 2005,
Wow.
called Ahmed Sultan from Morocco.
Yeah.
And it was really hard to come across the music because at the time, even emails were not allowing you to transfer more than 3
We had
MB.
dial-up.
Exactly.
We had dial-up internet.
Yeah, we had dial-up internet. So these guys had to find money, record in proper studios, press CDs and press records. So only the people who had access to money would be able to send us music.
Yeah.
And then when the computer age kicked in, things just went, 10 levels up because now you could receive music. It's just people just email stuff.
Yeah.
In fact, CDs and records were now being thrown away.
Yeah.
And people could actually email you the music directly. So that and the internet has really helped, speed up the progress of this music, I believe.
So seeing again how you've been in the whole journey, I feel like you're the godfather. like there's grandchildren and stuff like that. Can you remember the turning point of when Afrobeats was like breaking through and now becoming like a household brand, like with all the other genres in the UK?
I think African music has always been that. It's just that it has never been celebrated. Because, we have this thing where when a griot dies in West Africa, it's like burning down a library.
Yeah.
If they don't tell their stories. So we were used to, from African culture, being told the stories, not writing these things down. So there's no evidence of it. So I'm thinking back in the day, African music was popular.
Yeah.
Big Pimpin', Jay-Z, back in the 90s, sampled an Egyptian rice song. People like Aaliyah, You don't know what to tell ya. That was like an Algerian song that was sampled.
Yeah.
African music. Mama say, Mama sa, Mama kosa. Most famous thing, from Cameroon.
Right.
Michael Jackson. Rihanna.
So in very subtle ways,
these
it's
they
always
have
been
been,
there.
they've always been sampled. It's just they haven't been given the credit.
Michael Jackson's Liberian girl as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's speaking Swahili, nakutaka pia, nakupenda pia, nakupenda.
Yeah.
That's back in the day, and he would say it, and the language would transcend. But when we sing it, we're getting the praise. So I think it always has been there. It's just now that it can't be denied. It's just so in your face. But I think the changing point for the UK and the world was Oliver Twist.
Yeah.
Because Oliver Twist was such a balance between pop culture and African culture that they couldn't say, oh no, we can't take this anymore. And for that song to be able to get into the top 10, one of the first Afrobeats song to get into the top 10,
right?
And it got up to number 9. I think people now started to pay attention to this. What is this?
Yeah.
And then came Fuse ODG with 4 or 5 top 10s. Like him and Sean Paul just missed number 1 by a few thousand units.
Right.
Yes, he was number 2, I think, to Sam Smith.
Okay.
Yeah, at the time. So as you can see, the people who they're taking on with independent records, just using the synergy of the people and the vibes, because these are not kids who are signed to any record label.
Right.
People were just grinding. So you see the impact was like, okay. So the industries, the record labels had to pay attention now to what is this new thing? We need to be a part of this conversation.
Okay. Yeah. We know what's very ironic as well, because the whole scene has been dominated by, Nigerian artists, and then people say Ghanaian artists and SA, but the man is neither. He's Nairobian. You're getting championed by Nairobian. So let's hear that. How did some of your influence, especially being in Nairobi,
born and bred in Nairobi, yes.
Like, how did that roots also have an effect on?
No, it was
music?
It was a positive and a negative.
Okay.
So when I came to the UK, because I studied in Kenya.
Okay.
And in Nairobi, went to uni there. So when I came here, I wanted to be a hip hop and R&B DJ. Because that's what was big.
It's true.
Yeah, I came out here. I was doing
hip hop. American accents.
Yeah, I was doing hip hop and R&B nights with my friend Kofi and the Hitman at Sound in Leicester Square.
Yeah.
I used to go and do the warm-ups there.
Right.
And then when I started to do my research, I found that there was people like Trevor Nelson who have like 20, 30 years on me. And I was like, you know what? Even at the, and I remember I was big in the game back in Kenya, and I came here because I was small fish in a big pond.
Yeah.
And all these people were so established. And I was like, what's my USP? I have no unique selling points. Luckily for me, the first weekend I came to the I had my first booking. And it was a Kenyan club.
Right.
Because they knew me from back home.
Yes.
So from there, I started to mingle with South Africans, because all these Africans used to come to this club. Then I started to meet the artists. And then I was like, yo, there's something here. When I go to the hip hop and R&B clubs, they pay me a quarter of what these guys who value me pay me. So I was like, yo, there's something here. Then I went on to community radio. They wanted an East African DJ.
Yeah.
We started there. Then I came to One Extra. For when One Extra opened the first time, and I missed out because JJC, who had a bigger profile than myself, got in. And this is where the disadvantage was, because I had no friends, I had no allies. No one could just say, okay, I know Edu, yeah, he can do this.
Yeah.
So I had to work my way up the ladder as an anomaly, because no one's like, yeah, who's this guy? Where's he come? Who do you go to school with? I mean, which school did he go to?
Right.
I mean, yeah, but people who are born and bred here have uni friends who are probably in certain positions who can vouch for them. I didn't have that. But coming from Africa and being born around the music made people respect me more, because they knew I was brought up in that culture. It's not something I picked up because I came to the UK.
Yeah.
When I'm hearing this music and I'm playing it, I'm not playing it as somebody who likes it or loves it, somebody who's lived it.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think that's the difference.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you a really sensitive question now. Put you on the spot. So if you had to create your Mount Rushmore of African artists.
Yeah.
That's a bit techie. Who would it be? Because I think it's like 4 faces. So who's your Mount Rushmore of African artists?
For me, that's impossible, because I see so many talented artists right across Africa, and traveling to Africa and doing gigs there regularly when you see a kid who's unknown anywhere else in the world, and they're like, there's this kid called Jizzle in Gambia. He's filling up stadiums of 40,000 people, but no one knows him outside of the Gambia. So, and you see a country like Malawi, which has 10 million people, and the artists have 10 million views on their videos. That is even a million out of 10. And when an artist from Nigeria gets a million with the population of 300 million, we don't put that into context. So because I'm so deeply engraved in the music, I find it hard to pick.
Yeah.
But I know people will mention the normal artists, you know what I mean. But I would probably pick. This is impossible. It's like asking me to pick my favorite child. I think it's the artist that comes to the interviews. It's the one who behaves the best at the time. Yeah, yes. Yeah. I will say that. I think it's really hard to say because this is a continent, and I engage with these artists, and I really know some of them even put in more work than they get back in return.
Yeah, and
they spend more, but sometimes it's just your time. And because I've seen this over 20 years. And I've seen where these artists have come from and where they are now. Yeah. So I think it's really hard for me to put that together.
Really hard?
It's impossible.
Oh, no. Okay, so let's twist it around.
Okay, Oliver Twist. So, you see this one?
So basically, your show, of course, is about celebrating all these artists that have come through, emerging, established superstars. If there were people who you felt like probably should get their flowers and maybe haven't, who do you think they are? Who would you like to shout out and say, you know what, I give flowers to this person as well?
I would probably want to shout out the people behind the scenes more. I think because without the PR, the blogs, even down to the producers, to the engineers, I see producers now becoming artists and starting to shout their names on records, but they curate that sound. And no one gives them credit. You know, we hear of Dr. Dre, the Neptunes, all these guys, all these mastered on a beat. You know, we hear about them and we celebrate them like equal celebrities. But when you hear, an E. Kelly, you're like, you don't put as much value as a Mr. Easy who's jumped on the record. So I think the people that I really want to give flowers to is everyone else who's carrying this message. But we're only hearing it from one source, the artist. Everyone's asking the artist, but there's a whole team behind these people that no one is caring about. We hear from Michael Jackson's road manager, Fela's road manager, all these people inspired. Even Burna, the way Burna is working is because his uncle was manager to Fela. Yeah, exactly. So you see, there's a lot of other stories going on, bigger than actually what Burna is doing. Because I remember Lady Gaga when she left Akon's management.
That was
she tanked. And she tanked a bit, so there's some people who just need to be championed, who are literally hiding behind, hidden in plain sight.
Okay.
You see them silently next to the stage. You're like, who's this guy? What does he do? But those are the people that I think I need to really shout out.
Okay, cool.
Because the artists are already getting their flowers. They're getting a paycheck.
They're getting followers
on Instagram. They're getting brand deals. They're already celebrating. So let's celebrate those who are behind the scenes.
So big up to all those who are making it happen in radio and in TV. It's amazing and stuff like that.
Yeah, even your blogs, your little TikToks. And you people like yourselves, because this is the mouthpiece of when people are not going, when listening to the music, when they're not going to the concerts. You're the people who are keeping Afrobeats alive.
Okay.
Yeah, because you're talking about it and documenting it.
Okay.
I think that's a very important piece to the puzzle.
Thank you very much. I'll take my flowers with that. Exactly. I'll take my little nod. Okay, I got 2 more questions for you before you have to go. Okay. So you're at the Usher concert. Okay, you're there with your missus.
Yeah.
He's coming with the cherry bowl.
Yeah, go ahead, man. Try it. Good luck.
You can do cherries with the missus?
Yeah, my missus is a big... he's a big Usher fan from when he was Usher. From the days of Call Me a Mac. I like it when people ask me R&B questions, because I have about 30,000 R&B vinyls in my house.
Wow.
I've been collecting hip-hop and R&B from time.
DJs were carrying vinyls at one time.
And because I was a hip-hop and R&B DJ, and I used to like playing I have like two of each.
Yeah.
Because I used to like playing the instrumental first, warming it up, then playing the song, doing a few tricks. So Yeah, I mean, I know Usher from the days of Call Me a Mac.
Nice.
Yeah. Call me a Mac.
Yeah.
Cause I got it like that. Yeah. From them days, you gotta play by the rules. So I'm a proper R&B head. If I wasn't doing hip hop, big up to Ace, I'd be doing R&B. Yeah.
He wouldn't have no job.
Yeah. Ace, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
R&B would
last
be my
question.
thing, yeah.
What are your hopes for, hopefully, God willing, the next 20 years of Afro Beats and Afrosounds radio show?
Well, I hope that I've been able to be a good ambassador for the culture and for the music, and also show people that it's much more than just, just Nigeria and South Africa. I mean, the Congolese were filling stadiums of 100,000. The Congolese artists were doing 100,000 way before the Nigerians were doing 20,000 O2 capacity.
Yeah.
And these are the stories we don't get, we're not told,
Yeah.
because, Africa's a bit divided, Francophone, Anglophone. But
Yeah.
the Congolese have been doing international tours from time. I know because when I was in Kenya, Kanda Bongo Man came, Kofi Olomide, Werason, Bisebije, all these artists, they all came to Nairobi,
Right.
because they were getting booked there.
Yeah.
And Nairobi is not very near to Congo. It's a bit of a trek. So if people, I believe if somebody is willing to invest in you to bring you somewhere, there's a value in what you bring.
Yeah.
So, and that was back in the day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, DJ Edu,
My
for
pleasure.
being on Your Network.
Yeah.
Another legend. Not in the making. He's even getting started. So don't get twisted. See another 20 years what's going to happen. But yeah, thank you guys. This is DJ Edu. Stay locked on Your Network for more. Right, bye.
I had to mention Congo. You don't know. Congo, you don't know.
Yeah Network.